MGF Custom / Reviews.
What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing a singular showcase video on this LEGO Halo 4 Operator Spartan 4. Now, this figure was basically a mystery figure in my previous video, as you guys gave a ton of guesses in the comments section below, and the very first person who guessed the correct identity of this character was subscriber 360, and yeah, he did leave one of the S's out of his name because apparently someone before him terminated the account subscriber 360, so that's why I assume he calls himself subscriber 360. But anyway, link to his channel will be in the description below, so be sure to check that out if you'd like. But anyway, moving on, this figure is probably the first of its kind, as I myself have not seen anyone else make a Operator Spartan 4. And another thing that's really innovative about this figure is that I actually painted his DMR in the weapon camo that you get when you reach the Wetwork specialization in Halo 4. And basically the helmet and the weapon of this character, or this LEGO figure, is really the two big highlights of the figure. So there are a few reasons why this is probably one of my favorite LEGO Halo 4 figures that I've ever put together. One reason is because of his helmet and weapon, and then the other reason is that this is actually inspired off of my own armor in Halo 4. And I am currently the rank of SR 125, and basically this is pretty similar to what I wear in Halo 4. And I just recently enlisted in the Wetwork specialization as one of my last specializations, and I unlocked this awesome camo for the DMR, so I decided that it would really be fitting to make that in LEGO. And basically, as you can see, the color for this figure is a really kind of a dark blue. It's definitely a different dark blue. I honestly, personally think I should have made it a little lighter, but I think it really does look kind of awesome. It actually looks like the color that Majestic, or Fireteam Majestic, is in Spartan Ops, and they are very awesome. And some of you guys in the comments actually thought that this might be Hoya, because some of you already knew that it was an Operator Spartan, but you took the guess that it might be Hoya, but it actually wasn't. This is actually, I guess you can consider it a random Spartan 4, even though it is inspired off of my own. And basically, what I did for this figure is, some of you guys might remember the Galaxy Control minifigure back in LEGO Minifigure Series 7, and basically I took that helmet, sculpted in a visor, and then painted around what I sculpted in to achieve the proper shape of an operator's visor. And basically it turned out very awesome. And you might notice two little circular pieces on the front of his helmet right next to those white stripes there, and then you'll notice two others on his chest there, and then two more on the back. And what those are, they you guys might know the little sprues, little Lego plant sprues. Well, basically I took those and then chopped them up as if you would chop cheese, and I basically they're actually semi hard to apply considering they're so small, but I ended up pulling it off, and I definitely think it resembles the Operator Spartan, the Operator armor enough. And basically this is actually a Brick Warriors chess piece. I don't know why I didn't mention that in the beginning, but that is what this is. This is a Brick Warriors chess piece, and basically I basically painted, I'm saying basically a lot, but what I did was I painted the solid color of blue first, and then I added all of these white outlinings because why am I saying basically so much? I like basically. Basically it's like a really...
They don't like me.
Moving word. Anyway, so what I pretty much did is I painted all the white lines onto it afterward, and as you can see, it looks pretty awesome because each line is pretty even, and each one is also very unique. The shoulders, I forgot the name of the shoulders that these white stripes represent, but it definitely looks pretty awesome. And you guys might know the my LEGO Warrior Spartans, and what I did for those was I actually painted a lot of black outlining all over them, and I can't really do that with this one. I did a little bit on the top of the helmet, but the rest of the figure I really couldn't because the color is just so dark it would be barely noticeable. And so what I just decided to do was just do a ton of white outlining inspired off of my own armor. And you'll just notice various details all over the figure, and I painted pretty much all of those. Like you'll notice there are 2 lights on his wrist, and what I did for that was I basically painted First, I painted 2 shades of white, and then to overlap that with blue, and it kind of represents light. I've done it before on some of my figures, for example, my Iron Man figures, but I decided to give it a go on this figure. I definitely think it turns out pretty awesome. You can probably identify it as a lit-up portion of the armor, but some of you may not. That's alright. Anyway, you'll also notice his knee pads. His knee pads, they're probably not as familiar, you know, they're not as new to you guys as, like, for example, the helmet is, but what I did for those is I took the sprue of Brick Warrior's greaves, and then I glued those on and painted all the necessary details onto them. The stripe running along through there, and you'll also notice some various outlining on that little white stripe on the knees. That was additionally added, but however, it is not actually accurate to my Spartan. That's not actually on my knee pads in the game. But I decided it looked better than what is actually on my knee pads. And another thing I want to point out is that the visor, I painted all those, like you'll see little, like for example here, and or on this visor there, like the center of the visor, you'll notice I painted on those lines because they really express the overall design of an operator's visor, and I feel that if I don't put the necessary details on the visor of these Spartans, then it won't be able to really breathe the life of the armor into Lego. So I feel that those were really key to making the helmet, and definitely it looks really great. And you'll also notice there is some sections next to the visor that are actually painted black, and then you'll just, like you can already notice, there are just a ton of white lines going all around this figure. And then the back, you'll also notice there are some white dots there, and you'll also see that I tried to make a sort of I tried to represent some ventilation right below the helmet there, and I think it definitely looks pretty fitting. It looks pretty awesome. And the white line that begins right here, it actually starts like right there and then goes all the way around, going from here to his back, and it stops right there where the circular pieces that I added on were placed. And basically the rest is just a lot of outlining. You'll notice some more outlining here, and then you'll notice even more detail as the wrist continues around. And basically this figure is just chock full of white outlining, and just a ton of little details, but these details are definitely they definitely have a more simple concept than that of like Commander Palmer or Warrior Spartans, because they are easier to apply, because it's just not, I guess you could say that this figure wasn't as challenging, but the most challenging part of the figure had to be the helmet and DMR. And that's just personally my aspect. And another thing that was actually challenging for me about this figure was the knees, because another reason I didn't actually paint the original design that I have on my armor in the game onto the knee pads was pretty much because I was having a little bit of trouble with it. Even though I could have pulled it off, I decided not to, because I feel like what you see here on his knees definitely looks better than what I was originally aiming for. But other than that, this figure is probably one of my favorites, and he definitely looks pretty awesome inside my LEGO Halo 4 multiplayer display case next to Palmer and the 2 other Warrior Spartans. So without further ado, let's go ahead and finish this video, guys. Something I don't really clarify enough in my videos is that these figures are pretty posable. You'll notice his arm can move quite a bit, but unfortunately the Brick Arm's DMR wasn't exactly designed to cooperate with Brick Warrior's chest armor. Therefore, his arm does stop right there when he is wielding the DMR. But if he is not, then his arm goes up no problem. Another thing is that his legs are also very posable as well, even though I did paint an immense amount of detail onto them. And his helmet can also swivel, so pretty sweet. But yeah, that's just about the articulation of any LEGO figure, and I'm glad that I'm still able to keep that articulation despite all of the customizing I do on these figures. So that about does it for my final showcase video, guys, before the onslaught of LEGO Star Wars 2013 reviews. And yes, guys, the new 2013 sets are available pretty much everywhere. However, they are still making their way through the US. They have hit California, and now they're progressing through the rest of our country. I know you Canadians and Norwegians and everyone else out there, you guys probably have already got them, but it's going to be a big day on Tuesday for me, especially when I get all these new sets and get to build and review them for you guys, because I know I missed out a little bit, quite a bit on the summer sets. That was because of Brick Fair, but I will be on top of these reviews, guys, just like I had promised you on Twitter and Facebook, and I am super excited because these sets look absolutely awesome. So that about does it, guys, and I will see you guys later. All right.
Bye.